Hello and welcome, my name's Aaron Jones and I'm here to show you the very best highlights of my time taking at the University of Central Lancashire. So this is my showreel. It's not every day that you get a gallery free like this, so I'm making the most of it. And on the showreel today, you will see highlights of a range of different stories in which I've been involved in the past 3 years. So stories looking from Lee Johnson, the Football League's youngest ever manager, to George North, to Nigel Owens. I have had the absolute privilege of speaking and filming 2 world-class athletes from Wales. The first, the victorious British and Irish Lions George North.
Yeah, it's something my dad taught me from a very young age, is like, I can only have control of what goes on the pitch, and what if I, obviously from that, inspire people, that's obviously good, isn't it, really, and especially from North Wales, where rugby is quite difficult to play regularly there, so but for me, obviously, I still find it strange because obviously I'm still 21 now, and it just seems weird that kids are saying my name rather than the girls' names, because I still say the boys' names instead. So, it's been actually a whirlwind adventure. I never thought I'd be where I am today when I set off on the journey. I often have a joke with my old man that when I go home and just go for like a run or go on a bike ride with him, it's just funny that it's amazing when wheels get turning and things happen, because things can really be amazing. For me, I've obviously loved every second of it. It's been amazing. Obviously to play for your country has been massive. To play the highest level and win 6 Nations is amazing. Obviously the Lions was exceptional. I really enjoyed that, and obviously, still being 21, I got a lot more to look forward to now.
Much more to come from George North?
I hope so. I hope so. For me, at the moment, it's just been a case of just trying to stay in one piece. It's been a long old season for myself. I've been going now since the summer, really, so it's been like an 18-month season for me. So it's just trying to stay injury free. I think obviously after this year now, we've got World Cup coming up. So for me, I got to push harder again now, make sure my all-round game's up to scratch. Work on my basic skills, some of the aerial stuff, and then work physically, trying to be basically bigger, faster, fitter, stronger in it, really. And hopefully we'll see that in the future.
Ever so funny but professional referee Nigel Owens.
For example, one of the biggest issues in the game was the collapsing of the scrum, which was an issue and still is, and as well when the ball was available at the back of the ruck, it was there for ages and ages before the scrum half chose to play it out. He'd call people to his side, and so they brought something in to get rid of that, to quicken it up, which was a great idea, and it seems to be working, because now when the ball is available, the referee will say use it, and they got 5 seconds to use it. So that has been a good thing for the game. And then the changes in the scrum, where they've got away from the 4 cadence for the engage down to 3, so it's just crouch, touch, set. I think that has helped a little bit, but it's only helped the scrum that would have stayed up and has gone down because they were down too long, rather than the negative scrummaging. So there hasn't been much of an improvement in that phase of the game, really, in that law. So maybe they have to look at the scrum more in depth, I think, to try and solve those issues. But there's been a slight improvement, I think, in certain games.
The major project I've undertaken since being at university was to create a 15-minute radio documentary. This documentary looks at rugby in North Wales and why they haven't got any professional clubs. Here's a little snippet to whet the appetite.
It's a brave venture, but on the other hand, because commercial sport is such a difficult and tough business, once the rest of the economy starts to have problems, then sport has even greater problems. That, I think, unfortunately, is the story of Crusaders in Wrexham.
In 2009, Crusaders Rugby League came with a big bang, but was always destined to fail due to off-field problems. Local Wrexham reporter Thomas Norris explains to me exactly what went wrong.
I think they lived beyond their means to begin with. Brian Noble came in and he was constantly talking about signing players and knocking on the chief exec's door, and that they basically gave him everything he wanted, and that was because they were starting from scratch. Everything was costing more, and they just basically, because of crowds, weren't. There were sort of 3,000-4,000, which isn't spectacular, and it was a new venture, so they didn't have the merchandise and the backing behind them, and the money ran out, and quickly so did the club.
Part of the final year, myself with a group of colleagues put together a 15-minute sports TV news show covering the North West. I played my part by filming and editing a Morecambe package, being floor manager, and also being the website guru. I obtained the studio guest in the form of ECB's Young Cricket Commentator of the Year, Scott Reed.
It'll be a good game because Jimmy Anderson's going to play for Lancashire again, so you've got a couple of the old England players up against each other, which will add a bit of extra spice to it.
Talking about Jimmy Anderson earlier on, obviously had a good first match. Do you think he'll be able to keep up his current form going on to the Test match against Sri Lanka?
Yes, I think so. He had a tough winter, didn't he? But they all had a tough winter in Australia. He wasn't on his own with that. He's a fabulous bowler. He bowled beautifully at Trent Bridge. It was perfect conditions for him, seaming pitch, overhead cloud. It was perfect for Jimmy Anderson. I think he's going to play the next kind of 4 games for Lancashire, something like that, to try and get himself into some form for England later in this summer. There's only Ian Botham who got more Test wickets than James Anderson for England. He's a fabulous bowler. He was the best in the world at one stage in the ranking. So he'll come back again. He'll get wickets for England this summer, especially in English conditions. He's perfect for it.
Tomorrow, there's also pride and bragging rights in this Lancashire derby as Morecambe face a short journey to Highbury. Lying just 5 points off the relegation zone and without a win in their last 6, the Shunts will be hoping to give travelling fans something to celebrate.
You know, it's a big game. Fans obviously looking forward to it. It's got the added spice of, you know, being local, not much to travel for the Morecambe fans, and obviously we beat them on Boxing Day as well, so it's got that added spice where they'll want a little bit of payback for that, so it's got all the makings of a big game.
Some of my best stories that I've been at uni are going to be in this section. The first one is to do with Sean Taylor. He plays for Preston Grasshoppers, which is a local team just down the road, so a semi-professional side, and he was offered a professional contract by Nottingham. So I got an exclusive interview with him about it. He's not talked to anyone else about it, so it was a really good story. And also with Steve Diamond, who was announcing that Brian Redbath had been sacked as director of rugby at Sale. So I was there with all the Sky and BBC crews, and it was just really exciting and really enjoyable.
A trial basically for with them, just a training session with them. Just did the usual stuff. And then they're wanting or hoping to get me back for an attacking session because it was a defensive session what we did. So obviously we'd love to, but it depends on what they can offer. Obviously there's nowhere near the amount of money in rugby that it is in football, so if they can offer a decent wage then I'd certainly consider it and hopefully take it with 2 hands as well.
The pressure on certainly a club like this when it hasn't performed is enormous, and we've given him a couple of days just to have a think about it, and I certainly want him involved, and John Mitchell, who's coming as a consultant, thinks he does a good job. So John and I probably feel, and Brian feel, that's probably best if I head that up for the rest of the season. I'll be in charge of the rugby. He's just racking things through his mind, and hopefully it'll come positive for us.
If you'd like to know more, then check out my Twitter account. It's @AaronJones14. Ideally, you could also send me off an email to aaronjones33@hotmail.com. And again, thank you for listening.